What's going on, guys? Scott and Martin from Play Your Court. Today we're going to show you how to train doubles with just 2 players. All right, guys, so we know, a lot of times, look, like we're trying to practice doubles, but you can't always, I know Nate doesn't even have 3 friends. Like, it's hard. It's hard to get 4 people on the court at all times to practice doubles, right? So today, what do you have going on today?
For the most part, we're just going to try to figure out a way to get good at doubles if you only have 2 people.
Right, so let's say Martin and I are going to go play in a tournament together, a doubles tournament where we can't find somebody to practice against. These are the drills that we're going to go on court and do to get our doubles game sharp for competition.
100% correct.
Shall we dive right in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
So the drill that Scott and I are going to pull off is going to be a one-on-one doubles drill.
Good.
We're both going to start at the service line. We're going to start off relatively cooperative. So for the time being, Scott's not trying to beat me. I'm not trying to beat him. When we start playing a little bit, we start at the service line, mostly because that's where your first volley is when you're playing doubles. You start too close to the net, kind of unrealistic, not really starting to hit volleys from the baseline either. So once we start to get going, we'll start to get a little bit more competitive, but for the time being, we'll start cooperative, and then we'll get a little bit more competitive as we go on. Oh, yeah.
Being so nice to me.
Green.
Yeah, good play. Yeah, it's tough.
There.
Yeah.
There's a video for that.
Oh, yeah, got one. There's a feed. There's a feed. Oh, yeah? Yeah. So one of the things that I love about this drill and that I want you guys to think about when you're doing this is the isolation tennis aspect of this. Obviously, there's no net player. I've got to play cross court, and this puts me in the right mindset to think about how I would pick apart this baseline player if I was going to stay away from the net player. So what you're going to see both Martin and I trying to execute here is a ball deep that pushes that opponent back, that generates a short ball. We're then going to try and either play middle with the approach shot or short and out wide, and then volley to the opposite space. I call it the 1-2 punch. So if I drive an approach shot deep through the middle of the court, that's going to open up a lot of space to dump that short angle volley, short cross court for the 2 punch to close the point.
It's too nice.
Oh. One thing you'll notice as Martin and I are making our way to the net in these different points is that our first volley is happening right around the service line, which is why we practice drill 1, right? If you go back to drill 1, volleying from the service line, you're going to see a lot of that when you're playing doubles points and transitioning forward. Make sure you're split stepping. Don't run through that first volley at the service line. You want to make sure you're comfortable hitting that first volley around the service line and then continue to transition forward.
All right, guys, so we just rocked out a little bit on the deuce side, got through some ground stroke drills. Now all we're going to do is incorporate the serve here on the ad side. So what Scott's trying to do, he's essentially trying to play this return on the cross court, keep it away from the imaginary net player, make sure that return's not getting picked off. What I'm trying to do, I'm not going to hit a bunch of flat serves here. I'm going to try to throw in a few more kick serves, a few more spin serves, and try to make Scott hit something that's, a little bit uneasy for him, something a little bit out of his strike zone. That'd be awesome for me and my partner to be able to take care of that next ball.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so in this last drill, and you'll notice this is a progression, right? We started up at the net to really get warmed up volleying from the service line, because as you saw in the second progression, as we transitioned forward from the baseline, that's where a lot of these volleys were happening. We then added in the serve, and when we added in the serve, we focused on actually staying back, right? So in that last progression, you saw Martin and I, neither one of us were serving and volleying. We were working on setting up that pattern. Now the last piece of this is just frantically trying to get to the net. So we're gonna force both the server and the returner to immediately come in. So in this last drill, ball can only bounce one time. I'm gonna serve, I'm serving and volleying, I'm immediately coming to the net. Martin is gonna return, he's gonna hit his return and immediately try and rush to the net. This is just forcing us to get comfortable with the transition in uncomfortable situations and really put the emphasis on getting up to the net, because that's where the party is and that's where you're gonna close all these points out. So one thing to reiterate here as we're adding serving and volleying, hitting a big flat serve isn't actually always going to make your life easier here. If you do a ton of damage, sure. What you'll notice here is Martin and I are going to be using more kick serves, more sliders, because it gives you more time to get up to the net and actually get a realistic first volley.
There it is.
All right, guys, so to quickly recap, first of all, I'm clearly a much worse and terribly out of shape tennis player, because I'm dripping sweat and you're just over here in a long sleeve shirt chilling.
You did a good job, buddy.
But to recap here, so talk to me a little bit, right? We had 4 progressions there. The first one we started up at the net. Big piece there is really what? Like keeping the ball low? What are you thinking?
That's all just keeping it low and working your directional volleys, right? You're really trying to make sure you're staying away from the net player. Trying to stay away from your opponent's net player.
That's right. So, and you saw that, right? If you look back in the footage, you would see every time one of us popped the ball up, other person is closing the net, putting the ball into that open court space. So then we backed up, right? And this is sort of more basic. Like this is just sort of our almost like just a doubles cross court ground stroke warm up, right?
It is. You're pretty much looking for the same thing. It's all just direction, but instead of doing it from the net, you're looking at it from a baseline perspective there.
Right, and we're thinking about depth and just sort of ball movement, and obviously, like you said in the video, you know, avoiding the imaginary net player.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Then we're adding in the serves, and for the first version, we didn't come in because we wanted to focus on sticking with these patterns. So there's not really a whole lot more to tell the people, right? It's sort of the same concept, but you're going to try and set things up with the serve. And then lastly, we did the one bounce game where we're really focusing on practicing serving and volleying and returning and volleying. And you're not going to drop a bomb when you're hitting serves here. Why not?
You need time to come in.
That's right.
You need time to come in, make that first volley.
Sliders, maybe body serves is a good option for when you're working on this type of stuff.
Trying to get some weak returns.
Exactly. And then what about when you're returning? So I know a lot of people, you guys are like, man, like you're taking a big serve and trying to hit it back and then come into the net against somebody who's serving and volleying. What's your focus there?
I don't know, I'm a big fan of just shortening up the backswing and trying to take it a little bit earlier.
Chipping probably a good option.
Chipping it, slicing it, trying to keep things a little bit more simple in that spot.
For sure, and I know for me, I was trying to keep the ball at Martin's feet because I know how good his high volley is. So guys, that's a good recap. Again, doubles, 4 players. We know it takes 4 players to play actual matches, but when you're looking to practice, if you can only get 2 players, this is a great way to sharpen your doubles game when there's only 2 of you. Guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you're enjoying this content, there's a lot more of it and some evenly matched tennis players in your area that we would love to introduce you to inside of our membership. If you play tennis and you're not in there, you're messing up. So go check that out. We'll see you guys in the next video.